As we settle further into the world of Spaniels, let's turn our attention to something truly remarkable about these dogs: their intelligence and trainability. Spaniels consistently rank among the most intelligent dog breeds, and this isn't just anecdotal praise from devoted owners. In formal studies of canine intelligence, Spaniels regularly place in the top tier, demonstrating an ability to learn new commands with fewer than 5 repetitions and obeying known commands on the first attempt at least 95% of the time. This exceptional intelligence manifests in ways that go far beyond simple obedience. Throughout the 20th and into the 21st century, Spaniels have been trained for increasingly sophisticated roles in society. Their sensitive noses and gentle demeanor make them outstanding detection dogs, working in airports and border crossings to identify prohibited substances or agricultural products. But unlike some working breeds that can seem intimidating, a Spaniel's friendly appearance puts people at ease, making them ideal for these public-facing roles. Perhaps even more touching is the Spaniel's natural aptitude as therapy and emotional support dogs. Their intuitive understanding of human emotions allows them to provide comfort in hospitals, nursing homes, and schools. There's something profoundly calming about resting your hand on a Spaniel's silky head, feeling the warmth of their presence, and looking into those understanding eyes. It's as if they absorb worry and replace it with peace. Let's talk about the Spaniel's remarkable stamina and energy levels. These dogs were bred to work all day in the field, and that heritage lives on in their modern descendants. A healthy adult Spaniel can easily walk or run for several hours, making them wonderful companions for active families or individuals who love the outdoors. This energy isn't frantic or chaotic, it's purposeful and joyful, the kind that makes every walk feel like an adventure. Now, here's a fascinating aspect of Spaniel physiology: their webbed feet. If you've ever looked closely at a Spaniel's paws, you might have noticed that the skin between their toes extends further than in many other breeds. This natural webbing makes them exceptional swimmers, harking back to those ancient water spaniels we mentioned earlier. Many spaniels take to water instinctively, and watching one swim is like witnessing pure happiness in motion, their tails acting as rudders, their powerful legs propelling them through the water with grace. The life expectancy of spaniels typically ranges from 10 to 14 years, though many live even longer with proper care. This means that when you welcome a spaniel into your life, you're beginning a relationship that will span a significant chapter of your own story. They'll be there for birthdays and holidays, for quiet evenings and exciting adventures, growing and changing alongside you, their loyalty never wavering. Speaking of health, responsible spaniel breeding has become increasingly sophisticated over the decades. Breeders now screen for hereditary conditions to ensure the healthiest possible puppies. While spaniels are generally robust dogs, they can be prone to certain ear infections due to those beautiful long ears that don't allow much air circulation. Regular ear cleaning, a simple ritual that many spaniels learn to tolerate or even enjoy, can prevent most problems and is just another way that caring for these dogs becomes an act of love woven into daily life. The Spaniel's tail tells its own story. Unlike some breeds whose tails have been traditionally docked, many Spaniels today keep their full, naturally feathered tails that express emotion like a living barometer of their mood. A Spaniel's tail doesn't just wag, it rotates in full circles when they're truly excited, creating what owners affectionately call the helicopter tail or propeller butt. It's impossible to feel sad when you're greeted by that enthusiastic display. One more beautiful aspect of Spaniels is their adaptability to different living situations. While they were bred as hunting and working dogs, modern Spaniels have proven remarkably flexible. They can thrive in suburban homes with yards, adapt to city apartments with sufficient exercise, or flourish on rural properties where they have room to roam. What matters most to a Spaniel isn't the size of their territory, it's the closeness of their family and the consistency of their routine. As we near the end of this segment of our journey, picture a Spaniel curled up beside someone they love, their breathing slow and peaceful, their presence a steady comfort. This is what these dogs have offered humanity for centuries, not just their skills or beauty, but their wholehearted companionship. As we continue our exploration of these magnificent dogs, let's discover some of the more specialized Spaniel breeds that you might not encounter every day, but which add such richness to the Spaniel tapestry. The Irish Water Spaniel, for instance, stands as the tallest of all Spaniel breeds, reaching heights of 21 to 24 inches at the shoulder. With their distinctive curly coat that resembles a poodle's and their signature rat tail that's smooth and tapered, they're unmistakable, truly the athletes of the Spaniel world, bred for retrieving waterfowl in the coldest conditions. Then there's the Sussex Spaniel, a breed that moves through life at its own contemplative pace. Unlike their more energetic cousins, Sussex Spaniels are known for being particularly calm and steady, with a distinctive golden liver-colored coat that glows like autumn leaves in sunlight. They're also unique among Spaniels for being quite vocal. They tend to give tongue while working, meaning they bark or howl to communicate with their handlers, a trait that made them invaluable in dense cover where visual contact was difficult. The bonding capacity of Spaniels deserves special attention because it truly sets them apart in the canine world. These dogs don't just live with their families. They become emotionally intertwined with them. Research into canine behavior has shown that Spaniels release oxytocin, often called the love hormone, when interacting with their owners, and remarkably, their owners experience the same chemical response. It's a biological feedback loop of affection, a mutual exchange that deepens the bond with each interaction. Now, let's talk about the Spaniel's dietary needs, because proper nutrition plays such a vital role in their well-being. Due to their active nature and relatively fast metabolism, Spaniels typically require a high-quality diet rich in protein to maintain their energy levels and keep their beautiful coats lustrous. Most adult Spaniels thrive on 2 meals per day, though their exact needs vary based on size, age, and activity level. There's something almost meditative about the ritual of feeding a Spaniel, the way they wait patiently, eyes tracking your every movement, tail wagging in anticipation. Throughout history, Spaniels have had some truly famous admirers. Beyond King Charles II, whom we mentioned earlier, these dogs have been beloved by countless notable figures. President Richard Nixon's famous Cocker Spaniel, Checkers, became so well known that Nixon's 1952 speech defending himself against political allegations became known as the Checkers speech. The dog had captured America's heart, and Nixon knew that his family's love for their spaniel would resonate with voters. It was a testament to how deeply spaniels embed themselves in our emotional landscape. The Field Spaniel represents another fascinating chapter in Spaniel history. During the late 1800s, breeders became obsessed with creating an extremely long, low-bodied Spaniel, resulting in dogs so exaggerated they could barely function as working animals. Fortunately, dedicated breed enthusiasts in the early 20th century worked to restore the Field Spaniel to a more moderate, athletic form. Today's Field Spaniels are elegant, capable dogs, a reminder that sometimes the journey to perfection requires stepping back and rediscovering balance. One of the most charming aspects of Spaniel puppies is their development timeline. Spaniel puppies are born with their eyes and ears closed, completely dependent on their mothers. Their eyes begin to open around 2 weeks of age, revealing those iconic Spaniel expressions even in miniature form. By 8 weeks, when many puppies go to their new homes, they're already displaying the core Spaniel personality traits: curiosity, affection, and an eagerness to explore the world with both nose and heart. The socialization period for Spaniels is particularly critical. Between roughly 3 and 14 weeks of age, Spaniel puppies are like little sponges, absorbing every experience and forming associations that will last a lifetime. Properly socialized Spaniels become confident, friendly adults who navigate the world with ease. This is when they learn that children are friends, that car rides lead to adventures, that strangers often become companions, and that the world, while large, is fundamentally safe when you're by your person's side. Let's pause for a moment to consider the Spaniel's role in modern families. In today's often hectic world, these dogs serve as anchors, reminding us to take walks, to play, to sit quietly and just be present. A Spaniel doesn't care about your career achievements or your social media following. They care that you're home, that you have time for a game of fetch, that you'll sit with them as the evening grows quiet. In this way, they teach us what truly matters, lesson by gentle lesson, day after day. As we move deeper into understanding these remarkable companions, let's explore one of the most distinctive Spaniel breeds, the Clumber Spaniel. This breed stands apart in almost every way. They're the heaviest of all Spaniels, with males weighing between 70 and 85 pounds, and they move with a deliberate, rolling gait that speaks of power rather than speed. Their predominantly white coat, often marked with lemon or orange patches, gives them an aristocratic appearance. Developed on the estate of the Duke of Newcastle at Clumber Park in Nottinghamshire, England, these gentle giants were bred to work slowly and methodically through dense cover, making them perfect for hunters who prefer a more contemplative pace. The American Water Spaniel holds a special distinction. It's one of only 5 dog breeds developed entirely in the United States, and it's the state dog of Wisconsin. Emerging in the mid-1800s along the Fox and Wolf Rivers, these versatile dogs were bred by hunters who needed a companion that could retrieve from small boats, handle the cold waters of the Great Lakes region, and adapt to both waterfowl and upland game. With their curly, water-resistant coat in shades of brown, they represent American ingenuity in dog breeding. Now, let's talk about something that every Spaniel owner comes to know intimately: the shake. After any encounter with water, whether it's a swim, a bath, or simply walking through morning dew, a Spaniel will perform their signature full-body shake. This isn't just charming, it's remarkably efficient. Studies have shown that a dog's shake can remove approximately 70% of water from their coat in just a few seconds, rotating their body at speeds that would make any human dizzy. It's a moment of pure, unself-conscious joy, with ears flying and water droplets catching the light like diamonds. the Spaniel's nose deserves more of our attention because it's truly extraordinary. Beyond the sheer number of scent receptors we mentioned earlier, Spaniels possess a specialized organ called the vomeronasal organ, or Jacobson's organ, which allows them to detect pheromones and chemical signals that are completely invisible to human perception. When you see a spaniel with their mouths slightly open, appearing to taste the air, they're actually directing scent particles to this organ. They're reading a world of information we can't even imagine, stories written in molecules. Throughout the Victorian era, the popularity of different spaniel breeds rose and fell like tides, influenced by royal preference in shifting fashions. The toy spaniel varieties, including what we now call the English Toy Spaniel or King Charles Spaniel, became particularly fashionable among wealthy ladies. These smaller spaniels, weighing just 8 to 14 pounds, served as both companions and living hand warmers, often carried in sleeves or kept on laps during long carriage rides. They brought the spaniel spirit into the drawing rooms and parlors of high society. The concept of a spaniel's soft mouth is fundamental to understanding their breeding purpose. A well-trained spaniel can carry an egg in their mouth without breaking it, or retrieve a game bird without damaging the delicate meat. This gentleness isn't just physical, it's temperamental. Spaniels were selected generation after generation not just for their ability to find and retrieve, but for doing so with care and tenderness. That same soft mouth that once carried pheasants now gently takes treats from children's hands and carries toys as precious cargo. Sleep patterns in spaniels reflect their working heritage in interesting ways. Adult spaniels typically sleep between 12 and 14 hours per day, but this sleep is often distributed throughout the day rather than consolidated into one long period. They're masters of the power nap, able to rest deeply for short periods and then spring into alertness when needed. If you watch a sleeping spaniel closely, you might see their legs twitching, their nose quivering, they're dreaming, quite possibly of fields and birds, of running and retrieving, acting out in sleep the purpose bred into their bones. The Boykin Spaniel, South Carolina's state dog, has a particularly American origin story. In the early 1900s, a small stray spaniel-type dog was found wandering near a church in Spartanburg, South Carolina. A man named Alexander White took him in and discovered the dog had exceptional hunting abilities. Named Dumpy, this foundational dog became the ancestor of the entire Boykin Spaniel breed. These medium-sized dogs, with their rich brown coats, were perfectly suited to hunting wild turkeys and waterfowl from the small boats used in South Carolina swamps. It's a reminder that sometimes greatness emerges from humble, unexpected beginnings. One of the most touching aspects of spaniel behavior is their tendency to lean against their people. When a spaniel presses their body against your leg or sits with their back against you, it's not just seeking physical contact, it's an expression of trust and a desire for connection. In the wild, canines press against pack members for warmth and security. Your spaniel, pressing against you on the couch or while you're standing in the kitchen, is saying in their own wordless way, "You are my pack, you are my safety, you are my home." As this section of our journey draws to a close, imagine all these varieties of spaniels, from the massive clumber to the tiny toy, from the curly-coated water dogs to the silky-eared companions, each one a thread in the larger tapestry of this remarkable breed family. Close your eyes for a moment, and imagine a gentle companion with soulful eyes, soft ears that frame their face like silk curtains, and a tail that never stops expressing pure joy. This is the essence of the Spaniel, a breed whose story begins not in one place, but across centuries and continents, woven into the very fabric of human history. The name Spaniel itself whispers of ancient origins. It derives from the old French word espagnol, meaning Spanish dog, suggesting these beloved companions first emerged from the Iberian Peninsula over 2,000 years ago. But their journey didn't end there, it had only just begun. As we settle into their story, picture the medieval landscapes of Europe, where Spaniels were already establishing themselves as indispensable partners to humans. By the 14th century, these dogs had become so valued that they were being carefully bred into distinct types, each suited for different tasks. Some were land spaniels, working alongside hunters in fields and forests, while others became water spaniels, fearlessly diving into rivers and marshes to retrieve game for their handlers. What made spaniels so extraordinary wasn't just their hunting ability, it was their temperament. Even in those early days, people noticed something special about these dogs. They possessed an eagerness to please that seemed to radiate from their very being, combined with an intelligence that allowed them to learn complex tasks with remarkable speed. This winning combination of traits would ensure their place in human hearts for generations to come. The Renaissance period brought new appreciation for spaniels beyond their working abilities. Nobility across Europe began keeping smaller spaniel varieties as cherished companions, and these dogs started appearing in art and literature. Their expressive faces and gentle demeanor made them perfect subjects for painters, and their loyalty made them beloved members of royal households. By the time the 17th century arrived, spaniels had become so diverse that distinct breeds were beginning to emerge. The English had developed their own varieties, carefully refined over generations of selective breeding. These dogs typically weighed between 25 and 45 pounds, a size that made them both substantial enough for serious work yet manageable as household companions. What truly sets spaniels apart in the canine world is their extraordinary sense of smell. Their noses contain up to 300 million scent receptors, compared to a human's mere 5 million, making them exceptional at tracking and retrieving. This wasn't just a useful trait, it was the foundation of their entire relationship with humanity, allowing them to find game that would otherwise remain hidden in dense underbrush. But perhaps the most endearing quality of spaniels, the one that has made them beloved family members in modern times, is their gentle and affectionate nature. These dogs form profound bonds with their human families, often seeming to sense emotions and moods with an almost uncanny accuracy. It's this emotional intelligence, passed down through countless generations, that makes coming home to a spaniel feel like being greeted by pure, unconditional love. As our first few minutes together come to a close, we've only begun to scratch the surface of the spaniel's remarkable story, a tale that continues to unfold in homes around the world today. As we journey onward through the world of spaniels, let's explore something that brings these dogs to life in a particularly joyful way: their play behavior. Spaniels retain a puppy-like playfulness well into their adult years, and some maintain this youthful exuberance throughout their entire lives. This isn't mere frivolity, it's actually a sign of their intelligence and emotional health. Play serves multiple purposes for spaniels. It strengthens bonds with their family members, provides mental stimulation, and allows them to practice skills like chasing and retrieving that are hardwired into their genetic makeup. Watching a spaniel at play, whether they're tossing a toy in the air or engaging in a playful bow, is witnessing pure, unfiltered joy. The Welsh Springer Spaniel brings us another unique chapter in the Spaniel story. Distinct from the English Springer Spaniel, the Welsh variety is slightly smaller and always sports a striking red and white coat, never any other color combination. These dogs have been documented in Wales since before the Renaissance, appearing in historical manuscripts and tapestries. They possess a reputation for being particularly devoted to a single family, sometimes appearing reserved with strangers while being absolutely devoted to their own people. It's a loyalty that runs as deep as the valleys of their Welsh homeland. Now, let's consider the Spaniel's remarkable memory. These dogs don't just remember commands, they remember places, people, routes, and experiences with impressive clarity. A spaniel can remember a trail they walked years ago, recognize a person they met only once, and recall where they found something interesting on a walk months prior. This memory serves them in their traditional work, allowing them to mark multiple fallen birds and retrieve them in sequence, but it also means they remember every kindness shown to them, every favorite spot, every routine that brings comfort to their days. The grooming needs of spaniels, while requiring commitment, offer something special, dedicated time for bonding. When you brush a spaniel, running your fingers through their silky coat, checking their ears, cleaning their paws, you're not just maintaining their appearance. You're engaging in a ritual as old as the human-dog bond itself. Many spaniels come to treasure this grooming time, relaxing completely under the rhythmic motion of the brush, the gentle touch of trusted hands. It becomes a meditation for both dog and owner, a quiet interlude in busy lives. Here's something fascinating about spaniel hearing. Their ears, while beautiful and functional for scent work, actually give them exceptional auditory capabilities as well. Dogs in general can hear frequencies up to 65,000 Hz, compared to humans who top out around 20,000 Hz, but the spaniel's ear structure also helps them locate the direction of sounds with remarkable accuracy. This is why your spaniel's head might tilt when you speak to them in certain tones. They're fine-tuning their hearing, trying to capture every nuance of your voice, every emotional undertone in your words. The Cocker Spaniel's rise to fame in popular culture deserves special mention. In 1955, Walt Disney released Lady and the Tramp, featuring Lady, a refined American Cocker Spaniel as the protagonist. This film introduced millions of people to the charm and personality of the breed, contributing to the Cocker Spaniel's already considerable popularity. Lady's character, loyal, gentle, sometimes worried but always loving, captured the essence of the breed beautifully. The movie created a cultural touchstone, and to this day, many people's first association with spaniels comes from that animated character sharing spaghetti under the stars. Spaniels have an interesting relationship with seasons and weather. While they can adapt to various climates, many spaniels seem to come alive in autumn and spring, temperatures that allow them to work or play without overheating, whether that brings out rich scents in the air. Their double coat provides insulation in cold weather, with a soft undercoat for warmth and a longer outer coat that repels water. On the first crisp day of fall, you might notice your spaniel's energy levels rise, their nose working overtime in air that's sharp with changing seasons. They're responding to something primal, a call back to their days in the field when autumn meant hunting season. The concept of birdie is essential to understanding working spaniels. A birdie spaniel is one with strong natural instincts for hunting birds. They become intensely focused, their body language changes, and they work with purpose and passion. Even spaniels who have never been trained to hunt and live purely as companions often display birdie behavior when they encounter birds in the park or yard. You'll see it in the sudden intensity of their gaze, the careful stalking posture, the barely contained excitement. It's their heritage surfacing, a reminder that beneath the family pet lies the heart of a hunter. Let's talk about the senior years of a spaniel's life, because these years hold their own special beauty. As spaniels age, they often become even more affectionate, content to spend longer hours simply being near their people. Their muzzle gradually turns gray, giving them a distinguished appearance, and while they may move more slowly, their enthusiasm for life rarely diminishes, it simply becomes more selective. A senior spaniel knows what truly matters: the comfort of a soft bed, the warmth of a patch of sunlight, the familiar sound of their person's voice, the simple pleasure of a gentle walk at a pace that allows for thorough sniffing and savoring of the world. As we pause here in our exploration, think of all the life stages we've touched upon, from the eager puppy to the playful adult to the wise senior, each phase bringing its own gifts, each moment another brushstroke in the portrait of what it means to share your life with a spaniel. As we journey deeper into the world of spaniels, let's explore the fascinating diversity that exists within this beloved breed family. You see, when most people hear the word spaniel, they might picture one specific dog, but the truth is far more colorful. Today, there are over 15 distinct spaniel breeds recognized worldwide, each with their own unique characteristics, yet all sharing that unmistakable spaniel spirit. Among these varieties, the Cocker Spaniel stands out as perhaps the most recognized. This particular breed, with its flowing coat and gentle eyes, became the most popular dog in America during the 1940s and 1950s, a reign that lasted for decades. Families across the country welcomed these compact spaniels into their homes, drawn by their manageable size and sweet disposition. The Cocker Spaniel typically stands just 13 to 15 inches tall at the shoulder, making them perfect for both apartment living and homes with yards. But if we venture to England, we discover that the English Cocker Spaniel, while related, is actually a distinct breed from its American cousin. The English variety is slightly larger and was bred with a stronger emphasis on hunting ability, while American Cockers were refined more for their beauty and companionship qualities. This divergence happened gradually over the early 20th century, as breeders on different continents pursued different ideals. Then there's the Springer Spaniel, a name that perfectly captures their working style. These dogs earned their name from their distinctive hunting technique of springing game birds from their hiding places, causing them to flush into the air where hunters could more easily target them. Springer Spaniels are larger than Cockers, typically weighing between 40 and 50 pounds, and they possess seemingly boundless energy that requires an active lifestyle to keep them happy and healthy. One of the most striking features shared across spaniel breeds is their magnificent ears. Those long, pendulous ears that hang so gracefully aren't just beautiful, they serve a practical purpose. When a spaniel lowers its head to track a scent, those long ears actually help sweep scent particles toward the dog's nose, enhancing their already impressive olfactory abilities. It's a perfect example of form meeting function in the natural world. Speaking of their coats, spaniels are known for their silky, often wavy fur that can come in a stunning array of colors. From solid blacks and golds to intricate patterns of liver and white, orange and white, or the striking tricolor combination of black, white, and tan, each spaniel seems to wear their own unique work of art. This beautiful coat does require commitment from their owners. Regular grooming is essential, with most spaniels benefiting from brushing several times a week to prevent matting and keep their fur healthy and lustrous. Now, let's talk about one of the most endearing behavioral traits of spaniels, their eyes. Often described as melting or soulful, a spaniel's gaze has an almost hypnotic quality. This isn't just poetic imagination. Spaniels have been bred for centuries to maintain eye contact with their handlers, a trait essential for hunting dogs who needed to watch for signals and commands. This intense desire to connect visually with humans has resulted in that characteristic look that seems to pierce straight into your heart. The Cavalier King Charles Spaniel represents yet another branch of the Spaniel family tree, and its history is particularly romantic. Named after King Charles II of England, who ruled in the 17th century, these toy spaniels were the king's constant companions. Historical accounts tell us that Charles II loved his spaniels so deeply that he issued a decree stating that the breed should be allowed in any public place, including the Houses of Parliament, a rule that technically still stands today, though it's rarely invoked. As we pause here in our journey through spaniel history, imagine all these varieties, from the compact Cavalier to the energetic Springer, from the popular Cocker to the working English varieties, each one a testament to how humans and dogs have shaped each other's lives across the centuries. The story continues to unfold with each wagging tail and each gentle muzzle. As we continue our peaceful journey through the world of spaniels, let's turn our attention to something that makes these dogs such exceptional companions: their emotional sensitivity and intuition. Spaniels are what behaviorists call soft dogs, meaning they're highly attuned to their owner's emotions and respond strongly to both praise and correction. This sensitivity means a harsh word can genuinely hurt a spaniel's feelings, while a warm good dog can make their entire day. They read our body language, our tone of voice, even the subtle changes in our facial expressions. When you're having a difficult day, it's no coincidence that your spaniel stays closer than usual, offering their quiet presence as comfort. The Blue Roan English Cocker Spaniel presents one of the most striking color patterns in the spaniel world. Roan refers to a beautiful intermingling of colored and white hairs that creates a speckled, almost ethereal appearance. Blue Roan is actually black and white hairs mixed together, creating a silvery blue effect that shimmers in the light. These dogs look like they've been painted by an impressionist artist, each hair contributing to an overall masterpiece. Other roan colors include orange roan, lemon roan, and liver roan, each variety stunning in its own right. Now, let's explore the spaniel's relationship with children, because it's truly something special. Spaniels have earned a well-deserved reputation as excellent family dogs, particularly with young children. Their patient nature, combined with their playful spirit and sturdy build, makes them ideal companions for families. They seem to instinctively understand that children require gentleness, moderating their enthusiasm and accepting the sometimes clumsy affection that children offer. Many spaniels become devoted guardians of the children and their family, positioning themselves nearby during playtime, as if understanding their role as both playmate and protector. The importance of exercise for spaniels cannot be overstated. But it's not just about physical health. It's about mental well-being too. A spaniel who receives adequate exercise, typically at least an hour of activity daily, though many would happily take more, is a calmer, more content companion at home. This exercise doesn't have to be intense. A spaniel is just as happy with a long, meandering walk where they can sniff and explore as they are with an energetic game of fetch. The key is consistency and variety. Different routes, different activities, different challenges for their clever minds. This is what keeps a spaniel truly thriving. Here's something remarkable about the spaniel's tail that we touched on earlier but deserves deeper exploration. The tail is an extraordinarily expressive communication tool. Beyond the famous helicopter spin of extreme excitement, spaniels use their tails to convey a whole vocabulary of emotions. A tail held high shows confidence, while a tucked tail indicates fear or submission. A gentle, relaxed wag means contentment, while a stiff, rapid wag might signal alertness or tension. Learning to read your spaniel's tail is like learning a second language, one spoken entirely in motion and position. The tracking ability of spaniels has led to their use in search and rescue operations around the world. Their combination of sending ability, trainability, and stamina makes them valuable in finding lost persons, whether in wilderness areas or disaster sites. Unlike some larger breeds used in this work, spaniels' moderate size allows them to navigate through tight spaces and rough terrain with agility. When a spaniel is working a scent trail, they enter a state of intense focus, their entire being dedicated to following that invisible thread through the world until they reach its source. Let's talk about the spaniel's bark and vocalization patterns. While not typically excessive barkers, spaniels do communicate vocally when they feel it's important. Their bark tends to be medium-pitched and can vary in urgency depending on what they're alerting you to. A stranger at the door receives a different announcement than the excitement of a family member coming home. Some spaniels also make endearing groaning or sighing sounds when they settle down to rest, as if commenting on their day. These vocalizations become part of the household's daily symphony, familiar notes in the music of home. The concept of handler focus is particularly strong in spaniels. This refers to their natural inclination to check in with their person, to look to them for guidance and direction. Even when off-leash in an open area, a well-bonded spaniel will regularly glance back at their owner, maintaining that connection, making sure they're on the right track. This trait made them invaluable as hunting companions. A dog that constantly monitors their handler's position and wishes, but it also makes them deeply connected family members who seem to orbit around their people like loyal satellites. Throughout the Second World War, spaniels served alongside soldiers in various capacities. Some were trained as messenger dogs, carrying vital communications across dangerous terrain. Others worked as therapy dogs, bringing comfort to wounded soldiers in field hospitals. Their courage under fire and their unwavering devotion to their handlers became the stuff of legend. There are documented accounts of spaniels who refused to leave wounded soldiers, staying by their side through bombardments, their presence providing comfort in humanity's darkest hours. These war dogs embodied everything noble about the breed: bravery, loyalty, and an unshakable bond with their human companions. As this segment of our journey comes to rest, imagine a spaniel at the end of a full day, exercised, content, perhaps lying with their head on their paws, eyes growing heavy with that good tiredness that comes from a day well lived. In these quiet moments, the depth of the bond between human and spaniel becomes almost tangible, a connection that transcends words. As we move into this next phase of our exploration, let's consider the spaniel's natural retrieving instinct. Something so deeply ingrained that it manifests even in puppies who have never been trained. This instinct is more than just chasing and grabbing. It's a complex behavior that includes the desire to bring objects back to their person. You'll often see spaniel puppies naturally picking up toys, shoes, or almost anything they can fit in their mouths, carrying these treasures around as if they're the most precious things in the world. This isn't mischief, it's genetics expressing itself, an ancient purpose finding new objects in a modern world. The papillon, whose name means butterfly in French, represents the continental toy spaniel family. While some debate whether papillons should be classified as true spaniels, they share ancestry with the toy spaniels of Europe. What makes them unmistakable are their large, erect ears fringed with long hair that resembles butterfly wings. Despite their delicate appearance and tiny size, typically weighing just 5 to 10 pounds, papillons possess the same intelligence and spirited personality as their larger spaniel cousins. They're proof that the spaniel heart comes in all sizes. Now let's explore something that every spaniel owner eventually discovers. The spaniel stare. This is that particular intense gaze your spaniel gives when they want something, whether it's a walk, dinner, or simply your attention. It's not aggressive or demanding, it's more like a polite, unwavering request communicated entirely through eye contact. Some owners swear their spaniels can maintain this stare for impossibly long periods, never blinking, never looking away, until their human finally acknowledges what they're asking for. It's both amusing and slightly awe-inspiring to be on the receiving end of such focused determination. The seasonal shedding pattern of spaniels follows a predictable rhythm tied to daylight hours and temperature changes. Most spaniels experience their heaviest shedding twice a year, once in spring as they lose their thick winter coat, and again in fall as they prepare for colder weather. During these periods, the amount of fur that comes off a spaniel can seem almost impossible given their size. Regular brushing during shedding season doesn't just keep your home cleaner, it helps the new coat come in properly and turns grooming into bonding time, your hands working through their coat while they lean into your touch with contentment. The Pontaudimer Spaniel represents one of the rarer spaniel breeds, originating in the Normandy region of France in the 19th century. These dogs were bred specifically for hunting in marshlands, and they sport a distinctive curly coat similar to the Irish Water Spaniel. What makes them particularly unique is their coloring. They're typically liver and white, and they often have a top knot of curls on their head. Sadly, the breed nearly disappeared during World War II, but dedicated breeders have worked to preserve these remarkable dogs, ensuring that this piece of spaniel history continues. Let's talk about the phenomenon of counter-surfing, a behavior many spaniel owners know all too well. Spaniels, with their food motivation and problem-solving abilities, can become quite creative about obtaining treats. A spaniel who has learned they can reach the kitchen counter by standing on their hind legs might check for unattended food with remarkable persistence. This behavior isn't stubbornness or disobedience, it's intelligence and opportunism combined. The same traits that made them excellent at solving problems in the field now lead them to investigate every surface at nose height for potential treasures. The bond between spaniels and water deserves deeper appreciation. While not all individual spaniels love swimming, Many are naturally drawn to water in all its forms. They'll wade into streams, splash through puddles with abandon, and some will even try to dig in water, pawing at it as if trying to unearth something beneath the surface. This behavior connects them to their water spaniel ancestors, those fearless retrievers who would plunge into freezing water without hesitation. On a hot summer day, watching a spaniel discover a creek or pond for the first time is like watching them discover a part of themselves they didn't know existed. The way spaniels greet their people after an absence is legendary. Whether you've been gone for 5 minutes or 5 hours, many spaniels greet you with the same enthusiastic welcome, full body wags, excited spinning, sometimes even vocalizations of joy. This greeting ritual serves an important purpose beyond expressing happiness. It's a reaffirmation of the bond, a celebration of reunion. Some studies suggest that dogs experience time differently than humans, and that any separation can feel significant to them. Your spaniel's exuberant greeting isn't just cute, it's a genuine expression of relief and joy that their favorite person has returned. In the world of dog sports and competitions, spaniels excel in multiple disciplines. Beyond traditional hunting trials and field events, spaniels compete in agility, where their athletic ability and handler focus serve them well. They shine in rally obedience, which combines obedience skills with navigation of a course. Some spaniels participate in dock diving, launching themselves off a dock into water to retrieve objects or simply for distance. Their versatility means that whether you're interested in competitive sports or just fun weekend activities, your spaniel is likely game to try almost anything, as long as they're doing it with you. As we pause here in our journey, imagine all the ways spaniels have woven themselves into the fabric of human life, from the marshes of France to suburban backyards, from royal courts to family rooms, always adapting, always devoted, always unmistakably themselves. As we move deeper into our time together, let's explore something wonderfully unique about spaniels, their field face versus their show face. Within some spaniel breeds, particularly Cocker and Springer Spaniels, two distinct types have emerged over the decades. Field-bred Spaniels are typically lighter in build, with less profuse coats and more athletic proportions, bred primarily for their working ability and drive. Show-bred Spaniels tend to have more luxurious coats, heavier bone structure, and features that emphasize beauty according to breed standards. Both types are genuine representatives of their breed, simply emphasizing different aspects of the spaniel heritage, one celebrating function, the other form, yet both carrying that essential spaniel spirit. The nose leather of a spaniel, that smooth, often slightly moist surface of their nose, comes in different colors depending on their coat. Black-coated spaniels typically have black noses, while liver-colored dogs have brown noses, and lighter-colored spaniels might have lighter pigmentation. But here's something fascinating: a spaniel's nose can actually fade slightly in winter, a condition called snow nose or winter nose, where the dark pigmentation lightens somewhat in colder months, then darkens again come spring. It's a harmless quirk that adds to each dog's individual character. Now let's consider the spaniel's incredible adaptability to routine and household rhythms. Spaniels are creatures of habit who thrive on predictability, yet they're remarkably flexible when circumstances change. They learn the patterns of their household, when people wake up, when meals happen, when walks occur, and they anticipate these events with quiet readiness. But introduce a new schedule, move to a new home, or welcome a new family member, and most Spaniels adapt with grace, as long as their core relationship with their person remains stable. It's this combination of structure-loving and flexibility that makes them such harmonious household companions. The phenomenon of Spaniel time is something owners come to recognize and even treasure. This refers to those moments when a Spaniel becomes so absorbed in investigating a particular scent that time seems to stand still for them. Their nose works the ground in careful patterns, their tail moves in slow, deliberate wags, and the rest of the world simply ceases to exist. They might spend 5 full minutes investigating a single square foot of grass, reading a story written in scent molecules that we can't even begin to perceive. Learning to allow your Spaniel these moments of deep investigation, rather than hurrying them along, is learning to see walks through their eyes, or rather, their nose. The English Toy Spaniel, also known as the King Charles Spaniel, differs from the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel in several distinct ways. The English Toy Spaniel has a more domed head, a shorter nose, and slightly larger eyes, giving them an almost perpetually endearing expression. They're also typically smaller, weighing between 8 and 14 pounds. These dogs were the constant companions of British royalty for centuries, small enough to be carried but large enough in personality to fill a room with their presence. Their gentle, quiet nature made them perfect palace dogs, comfortable in both grand halls and intimate chambers. Let's talk about the Spaniel's relationship with sleep positions, because these tell us so much about their comfort and trust. A Spaniel who sleeps curled in a tight ball, nose to tail, is conserving heat and protecting their vital organs, a position that harks back to wild canine behavior. A Spaniel sprawled on their back, legs in the air in what's affectionately called the dead cockroach position, is showing complete trust and comfort. They're vulnerable but feel absolutely safe. And a Spaniel who sleeps pressed against you or with a paw touching you is maintaining contact even in sleep, that constant connection that defines their relationship with their people. The sending games that Spaniels naturally excel at can provide wonderful mental enrichment. Hide and seek with treats, nosework classes where they learn to identify specific scents, or even simple games where you hide their favorite toy and encourage them to find it. All of these tap into their natural abilities and provide deep satisfaction. A Spaniel who has spent 20 minutes using their nose to solve puzzles is often more contentedly tired than one who has simply walked for an hour. Mental exercise, for these intelligent dogs, is just as important as physical activity, and their spectacular noses make scent work particularly rewarding. Throughout the 20th century, Spaniels became increasingly popular as urban and suburban companions, adapting from their rural working origins to life in cities and towns. This transition speaks to their remarkable flexibility. While they were bred for wide-open spaces and long days in the field, Spaniels adjusted to apartment living, to leashed walks instead of free roaming, to playing fetch in parks instead of retrieving game. What they needed most wasn't acreage or specific terrain, it was their person's companionship, regular exercise, and mental stimulation. The location mattered far less than the relationship. The Spaniel lean is another endearing trait that owners come to treasure. This is when your Spaniel stands beside you and gradually increases the amount of their body weight they're resting against your leg, until they're essentially using you as a living support beam. Some Spaniels will lean so heavily that if you move away suddenly, they'll actually stumble. This leaning behavior is affection made physical, a way of being close that's even more connected than simply standing nearby. It's a quiet statement: I am with you, you are supporting me, we are together. As we near the end of this segment, picture a spaniel in the golden hour of evening, perhaps by a window where the last sunlight streams through, their coat glowing, their eyes peaceful, their breathing slow and steady. In moments like these, the centuries fall away, and you glimpse the timeless essence of what it means to share your life with these remarkable dogs. As we approach the final stretch of our journey together, let's explore one of the most touching aspects of spaniel behavior: their ability to sense when something is wrong. Whether it's physical illness, emotional distress, or even subtle changes in a family member's routine, spaniels often detect these shifts before anyone else. There are countless stories of spaniels who persistently nudged or pawed at a spot on their owner's body, later discovered to be an early sign of cancer. While we shouldn't rely on our dogs for medical diagnosis, their sensitivity to changes in our scent, behavior, and subtle physical cues is remarkable. They're living companions who truly pay attention to our well-being. The importance of early socialization with other dogs shapes a spaniel's social skills for life. Puppies who interact with well-mannered adult dogs and other puppies during their critical developmental period learn the subtle language of canine communication: when a play bow means let's have fun, when a stiff posture means give me space, how to moderate the intensity of play. Well-socialized spaniels typically become confident, friendly dogs who can navigate dog parks, greet other dogs on walks, and read social situations with ease. This social education is as important as any obedience training. Now let's consider the spaniel's incredible food motivation, which can be both a blessing and a challenge. Their enthusiasm for treats makes them exceptionally easy to train using positive reinforcement methods. A small piece of chicken or cheese can motivate a spaniel to learn almost anything. However, this same food drive means they can be prone to weight gain if portions aren't carefully monitored. A healthy weight is crucial for spaniels, as excess pounds strain their joints and can contribute to health issues. The good news is that most spaniels are more than willing to work for their food through training exercises, puzzle feeders, or gentle activity, turning mealtime into an opportunity for engagement. The quirks, a Dutch spaniel breed with a name that's challenging for English speakers to pronounce, has a fascinating and specific historical purpose. These small orange and white spaniels were bred to lure ducks into traps called decoy in the Netherlands. They would playfully prance and wave their white plumed tails along the edges of canals, and curious ducks would follow them into increasingly narrow waterways that ended in nets. It's a testament to the spaniel's intelligence and trainability that they could be taught such a specialized, unusual task, one that required restraint, precision, and an almost theatrical quality. Let's talk about the gray muzzle that comes with age, that gradual silvering around a spaniel's face that marks the passing years. While some owners might feel a touch of sadness watching their vibrant young dog show signs of aging, there's profound beauty in these silver whiskers. Each gray hair represents a day lived together, an experience shared, a bond deepened. Senior spaniels often develop a dignified appearance, their faces showing the wisdom of years, their eyes holding the depth that comes from a lifetime of devotion. To love a spaniel through all their life stages, puppy, adult, and senior, is to experience one of life's most meaningful relationships. The way Spaniels navigate their world when vision or hearing begins to decline in their senior years demonstrates their resilience and adaptability. A Spaniel losing their hearing often compensates by paying even closer attention to visual cues and vibrations. One losing vision relies more heavily on their incredible sense of smell and their memory of their home's layout. Many senior Spaniels with sensory decline continue to live full, happy lives because they're so bonded to their people and so familiar with their routines. They teach us that diminishment in one area doesn't mean diminishment of spirit or quality of life. The concept of resource guarding occasionally appears in Spaniels, though it's generally less common in this breed than in some others. This behavior, protecting food, toys, or even people from perceived threats, usually stems from insecurity rather than aggression. The good news is that Spaniels' trainability and desire to please make them responsive to gentle training methods that can modify this behavior. Teaching a Spaniel that good things happen when people approach their valued items, rather than those things being taken away, can transform a worried guarder into a relaxed, trusting companion. Throughout the centuries, artists have been drawn to Spaniels as subjects. From Renaissance paintings to Victorian photography to modern digital art, Spaniels appear again and again. Their expressive faces, elegant proportions, and the way light plays on their silky coats make them naturally photogenic. But more than their physical beauty, artists seem drawn to capturing something in the Spaniel's gaze, that quality of presence, intelligence, and emotional depth. Looking at portraits of Spaniels from different eras, you see the same essential soul looking back, unchanged across centuries. The final fact in our first 90 brings us to something simple but profound. The sound of a Spaniel's breathing as they sleep beside you. That gentle rhythm, sometimes punctuated by soft dream whimpers or the twitching of paws chasing phantom birds, becomes part of the soundtrack of home. It's a sound that means safety, companionship, trust. On difficult nights, that steady breathing can be an anchor. In moments of joy, it's a reminder of simple pleasures. The breath of a sleeping Spaniel, rising and falling in peaceful rhythm, is one of life's quiet treasures. As we prepare for our final segment together, take a moment to reflect on everything we've discovered, from ancient origins to modern companions, from specific breeds to universal traits, from puppyhood to dignified old age. The story of the Spaniel is, in many ways, the story of the human-dog bond itself. As we enter the final chapter of our journey together, we return to what brings the Spaniel story full circle, their role as emotional anchors in an increasingly complex world. In an age of constant noise and distraction, Spaniels offer something profoundly grounding: presence. They don't dwell on yesterday or worry about tomorrow. When you're with a Spaniel, you're invited fully into the now, the rhythm of a walk, the joy of play, the quiet comfort of simply sitting together. These ancient companions have never been more relevant, reminding us of lessons we so often forget. Then there are the zoom eyes, those sudden bursts of wild energy officially known as frenetic random activity periods. Often triggered after baths, moments of restraint, or pure happiness, these joyful explosions are unfiltered expressions of life itself. Watching a Spaniel race in circles, leap, and spin is to witness joy that refuses to be contained. And just as suddenly, it ends, your Spaniel stopping, panting happily, as if to say, that was necessary. Spaniels are also remarkable for their patience, especially with the very young and the very old. They seem to instinctively understand vulnerability, softening themselves around infants, tolerating clumsy hands, slowing their pace beside elderly companions. This gentleness isn't trained, it rises naturally from the empathy that defines the breed. Working tests and certificates help preserve the Spaniel's deep-rooted instincts, even in family companions. These activities reconnect them with their heritage, retrieving, responding, working in partnership. Watching a Spaniel awaken these instincts feels like watching them remember something essential, carried quietly across generations. There is also a tender truth many owners recognize: when a Spaniel senses their time is nearing its end. In those final days, they often seek extra closeness, resting their head in laps, gazing longer, staying near. Whether instinct or comfort-seeking, these moments leave lasting imprints. To accompany a Spaniel through their entire life, including its final chapter, is a profound and humbling gift. Many Spaniels are known as Velcro dogs, following their person from room to room, unwilling to be separated even by a closed door. This isn't neediness, it's heritage. Bred for centuries to work closely with one human, their devotion simply carries into modern life. Wherever you go, they want to be there too. Over time, owners become fluent in a Spaniel's subtle language: the slight eyebrow lift, the gentle head tilt, the softening of the eyes. These micro-expressions form a silent conversation, requests, concerns, affection, spoken without words but understood completely. Spaniels also know when you're about to leave long before you say goodbye. Shoes, keys, scent, nothing escapes their notice. Some grow visibly sad, others position themselves hopefully, wishing to be included. It isn't magic, just deep observation paired with emotional investment. You are the center of their world. The legacy of a Spaniel extends far beyond their lifetime. The lessons they teach about loyalty, joy, presence, and unconditional love stay with us. Many people eventually welcome another Spaniel into their lives, not as a replacement, but as a continuation. Each one is unique, yet all carry that enduring spirit refined over centuries. And so we arrive at our final fact, number 100, and perhaps the most important of all: a Spaniel's greatest gift is loving us without condition or judgment. They don't love us for what we achieve or despite our flaws. They love us simply because we are theirs. All they ask in return is care, attention, and presence. It's a love that quietly makes us better. Voice softens. As we come to the end of our time together, imagine Spaniels everywhere, curled on couches, running through fields, sleeping in sunbeams, greeting their people at the door. Each one is a continuation of a story thousands of years old, yet completely their own. We shaped them, yes, but they have shaped us too, teaching us what loyalty and love truly mean. If you share your life with a Spaniel, take a moment after this to simply be with them. Feel their warmth, stroke their silky ears, meet their gaze. These quiet moments matter most. And if you don't yet have a Spaniel, know that somewhere your future companion exists, waiting to become part of your story, just as you'll become part of theirs. The story of Spaniels continues, in homes and hearts around the world, a bond without breaking, a tale without end. And that may be the most beautiful fact of all.